Most farmers are barely surviving right now. Corn prices sliding, soybean margins razor thin, input costs up, government checks keeping operations on life support. And meanwhile, quietly, without any press coverage, without any government program, there are farmers pulling $50,000 a month from spaces smaller than a basketball court. Same dirt, completely different game. The gap between struggling and thriving is 10 crops, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly which ones can flip everything for you. Traditional farming is not just struggling, it is structurally broken for small operators. Big agriculture was designed to reward scale. The more acres you farm, the more the system works in your favor. Bulk input pricing, equipment cost amortization, government subsidies that favor volume. A 5,000-acre corn operation can survive on thin margins because the math works at scale. A 50-acre operation cannot. The same margin that keeps a large farm profitable bankrupts a small one. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. While conventional farmers are watching their operations shrink and their equity evaporate, a completely separate group of growers is having record years. They are not receiving government assistance. They are not waiting for commodity prices to recover. They are not farming corn or soybeans or anything a seed company advertised to them. They discovered what the agriculture industry does not want small farmers to understand. Value beats volume every single time. And there are 10 crops that prove it. Here's the mental model that changes everything. Conventional farming is a volume game. You need thousands of acres to generate meaningful income because your product, a bushel of corn, a pound of soybeans, is worth the same as every other bushel and pound on the market. You are a price taker. The market tells you what you earn. Specialty farming is a value game. Your product is rare, in demand, and commands a price that has nothing to do with what your neighbor is earning per acre. You are a price setter. You tell the market what you charge. The 10 crops we're covering today are not 10 random plants. They are 10 proof points for a single principle. Margins that conventional farming will never see again are available right now to any grower willing to learn what the market is actually hungry for. One more thing before we get into the list. Everything I'm covering today, the full sourcing guide, the buyer contacts, the growing systems, the income roadmap, is laid out step by step in the Millionaire Farmer Guide. Link in the description. We'll come back to it at the end. Now, let's get into the crops.
Number 10. Ginseng. Plant it today, harvest in 8 to 12 years. That sounds insane until you hear the number. Wild simulated ginseng sells for $800 per dry pound. 1 acre produces approximately 300 pounds at harvest. That is $240,000 from land you barely touched for a decade. The Chinese herbal medicine market for American ginseng root is worth billions and has been for centuries. The export buyers are not going anywhere. They've been purchasing American ginseng root since before this country had a postal service. Here's the business case nobody talks about. You can plant ginseng today under existing tree cover on land you already own, land that is currently producing zero income. You do minimum maintenance for 6 to 8 years, and you harvest what is essentially a cash crop that grew itself while you ran the rest of your operation. The patience required to grow ginseng is exactly what makes it worth $800 a pound. Almost nobody will wait. That is your competitive advantage. Patience is not sexy. Neither is $240,000 in a single season from land you planted once and forgot about. Number 9. Goji berries. The superfood label attached to these tiny red fruits permanently changed their market value. Packed with antioxidants, marketed for anti-aging benefits, consumed by health-conscious buyers who have already decided they are worth a premium. Dried goji berries sell for $20 per pound. 1 acre over 3 years produces approximately 7,000 pounds. That is $46,000 per acre per year from a plant that needs minimal maintenance once established. Here's the market detail worth understanding. Most Americans have never tasted a fresh goji berry. They're buying them dried and packaged by the pound for smoothie bowls, health routines, and supplement stacks. And domestic growers cannot keep up with demand. The import market is enormous because there simply aren't enough American producers to supply what American consumers are already buying. That supply gap is your opportunity. Every pound of domestic goji berry entering a health food store or online marketplace is displacing an imported pound. Premium domestic positioning commands a premium over imported product. Same berry, different story, different price. Number 8. Lavender. This is not a single product crop. It is a revenue platform. Sell fresh bouquets to florists and wedding planners, dry them for wreaths, crafts, and home decor, extract the oil for aromatherapy and skincare, sell culinary lavender to restaurants and specialty food stores. Open your farm to you-pick visitors on summer weekends and charge $20 a person to walk through a purple field with a basket. 1 acre produces approximately 12,000 bunches. Each bunch sells for $6 to $13 depending on your buyer. That's $24,000 to $52,000 per acre from product alone. Add essential oil, add agritourism, add a direct-to-consumer product line. A family in Sequim, Washington turned 4 acres of lavender into a destination farm, generating over $500,000 per year across oil, retail, and visitor events. The lavender was the product. The farm experience became an entirely separate business running on top of it. This is what multiple revenue streams from a single crop looks like when you build it intentionally. Number 7. Bamboo. Not for food, for landscaping, for privacy screens, for the homeowner who just put up a new fence and wants something green growing beside it by next summer. Some bamboo species grow 3 feet in 24 hours. Landscapers need it constantly, and they cannot source it locally fast enough. Individual container plants sell for $25 to $150 each at retail. A single privacy screen installation for one homeowner moves 50 to 100 plants. An average bamboo nursery operation generates over $60,000 per year. And here's what makes the math extraordinary at small scale. One mature bamboo clump produces 8 to 15 divisions per year. Each division becomes a saleable container plant in one season. Your inventory literally reproduces itself annually without replanting. A nursery operator in Georgia started with 12 plants. 3 years later, she had 2,000 container plants and was generating $80,000 per year from a half acre, using plants her original 12 had produced. You're not buying inventory each year. You're harvesting it from what you already have. Number 6. Chives. The herb your mother sprinkled on baked potatoes is generating $64,000 to $128,000 per acre for the farmers who understand what makes it special. Chives are perennial. Plant once, harvest for years. They keep their leaves through winter in most climates and explode back in spring. 1 acre produces approximately 16,000 pounds. At $4 to $8 per pound wholesale, the math is straightforward. Here's what most people miss about chives as a business. The value is in the consistency. Restaurants, grocery stores, and food service buyers do not want a crop they can get in spring and not in November. They want a supplier they can order from year-round. Chives, with proper variety selection and basic season extension, come as close to year-round production as any fresh herb available. Become the reliable local supplier for fresh chives to 3 or 4 institutional buyers in your area, and you've locked in income that runs almost on autopilot. The crop that gets dismissed as a garnish is quietly building some of the most stable farm incomes in the specialty herb category. Number 5. Wasabi. Here's the scandal that creates the opportunity. 95% of the wasabi served at sushi restaurants in the United States is not wasabi. It's hard radish, mustard powder, and green food coloring. The real thing, Wasabia japonica, sells for $70 a pound wholesale, $120 a pound direct to restaurants. A fresh stem costs $50 for 100 grams at retail. Why so expensive? Because wasabi is one of the most demanding crops on Earth. cool temperatures, high humidity, moist, well-drained soil, deep shade. All four conditions must exist simultaneously. Direct sun kills it. High heat kills it. Poor drainage kills it. Most people can't grow it. That difficulty is your premium. Nail the growing conditions and you're looking at $120,000 per acre annually. More importantly, once a chef has tasted real, freshly grated wasabi, they don't go back to green paste. The buyer loyalty in wasabi is unlike anything else in specialty farming. You're not just selling a product, you're solving a problem they had accepted as permanent. There are fewer than a handful of commercial wasabi farms in the entire United States. Demand is enormous. The gap between supply and demand is your business. Number 3. Saffron. $10 to $20 per gram. $5,000 to $10,000 per pound. This is the most expensive spice on earth by weight, and it has been for centuries. The price will not change. Here's why. It takes approximately 150,000 crocus flowers to produce 1 kilogram of dried saffron. Each flower produces exactly 3 stigmas. Every single one is harvested by hand during a bloom window that lasts 2 to 3 weeks per year. There's no mechanical solution to this. There's no industrial shortcut. The labor intensity that makes saffron brutally expensive to produce is the same thing that keeps industrial operations from dominating the market. Large-scale automation doesn't work. Careful, attentive, small-scale growers have a genuine structural advantage over anyone trying to industrialize this crop. American-grown saffron commands a 30 to 100% premium from imported product, buyers who want domestic sourcing on their labels. A quarter acre generates $40,000 per year for growers who have built their restaurant and specialty retailer accounts. The same quarter acre compounds in value every year as the corn population multiplies underground without replanting.
Number 2. Oyster mushrooms. 6 to 8 weeks from spore to first harvest. No land required, no soil, no seasons, no weather risk. In a 500 square foot growing space, you can produce approximately 12,000 pounds annually. At $10 per pound, that is $120,000 per year from a space smaller than a 2-car garage. Scale across multiple growing rooms and serious operations are clearing $60,000 to $120,000 per year from converted barns, basements, and warehouses. Here's the honest risk picture. Contamination can wipe out an entire crop overnight. Oyster mushrooms are the most forgiving variety for beginners, but the learning curve is real. Beginners who cut corners on sterilization or temperature control pay for it. Mushrooms also have a short shelf life. You need local buyers ready before you are harvesting, not after. The growers who succeed at mushrooms are not the ones who read about it and felt confident. They are the ones who started small, accepted the early failures as tuition, learned the system at a manageable scale, and then expanded from a position of knowledge rather than optimism. This crop rewards precision. Bring precision to it, and it pays you every 6 to 8 weeks like clockwork. Number 1. The crop pulling the most profit per square foot on Earth. Microgreens. Harvested 2 to 3 weeks after germination, they sell for over $15 per pound. In a 1,000 square foot operation with proper setup, you can produce $30,000 to $50,000 per month. $360,000 to $600,000 per year from baby plants. The overhead is lighting and water. The market is restaurants, health food stores, farmers markets, and direct consumers who pay retail prices for the most nutritious food they can put on their table per ounce. And here is the detail that makes this the number 1 crop on this list. You are not dependent on weather. No droughts, no floods, no hurricanes, no crop insurance claims, no government disaster programs. While conventional farmers filed over $20 billion in weather-related insurance claims last year, microgreen growers were expanding operations in warehouses and basements with complete control over every growing variable. This is not a farming operation, it is a manufacturing operation. The product is perishable. The production is controlled. The margins are extraordinary. and the startup cost for a serious first operation is a fraction of what any field crop requires. The failure mode is not weather, it is not market demand, it is getting your first consistent buyer and then not having enough product to fill the order. That is a good problem to have. It means you scale. Let's connect what you just saw. These 10 crops share nothing in growing requirements, timeline, or production method. Ginseng takes a decade. Microgreens take 3 weeks. Mushrooms need no land. Truffles need specific soil chemistry. Saffron blooms 2 weeks a year. What they share is the only thing that matters, margins that conventional farming will never see again. The agriculture industry is splitting into 2 worlds. One is farming commodities with single-digit profit margins, dependent on government programs, praying for favorable weather and favorable prices on things they have zero control over. The other is growing specialty crops with margins above 50%, turning garages into 6-figure operations, building buyer relationships that generate standing orders year after year, working with nature instead of against it. This is not romanticizing farming. This is what the numbers actually show when you follow the farmers who are winning instead of the ones who are surviving. The complete system behind everything you just watched, the crop selection framework, the buyer contact database, the growing guides for all 14 of the highest value specialty crops, the business plan templates, the pricing calculators, the legal structure guide, everything is in the Millionaire Farmer Guide. The farmers building 6-figure operations from small plots are not smarter than you. They are not luckier. They have the information and the system. That is the entire difference. The guide gives you both. Link is in the description below. Read what is on that page. Look at what it covers. Make your own decision. If you are sitting on land right now or dreaming about it, and you're ready to see what is actually possible when you grow the right thing for the right buyers, this is your next step. Drop a comment telling me which crop you would start with. I read every one. Now you know what to farm.